So, man, we're back on Monday nights, man. Look, it's the beginning of that pigskin, man, and you already know that your coverage will be right here on the Undisputed GOAT podcast. Now, right now, the only thing we have is the GOG, the gentleman of Georgia, right about now. We're waiting on the personification of greatness, that being Flash 22. We're waiting on him to arrive at this point. But for right now, we will be rolling with you live tonight on the Undisputed GOAT podcast as we watch Raw and await the arrival of the great Flash, man. How you doing today, BRF?
Oh man, I'm doing pretty good. Weekend was a little bittersweet for me. My daughter had to go back home. School starts Friday for them up in West Virginia. But definitely want to send my love and shout out to my little girl. It's pretty good. Back to work. It was a good day. Weekend still was okay. And well, not really too much going on here, but and just news has just been crazy. Sports, so like real world news, just stuff's been wild, and I'm just ready to get into the nitty gritty, talk about some of this. Oh boy, I guess if you want to say spilling some of this tea we got going on, I guess that's what we gonna do.
Hey man, let's spill it. Let's spill it, man. So, what are your thoughts on the preseason thus far, man? What do you think about what's going on in the NFL at this point in time, brother?
I'm not liking the injuries so far. I mean, it's going to come to territory, but I don't know. It's like it's been kind of a little more. It's like the first week was like a little worse than usual. Like you go to the Detroit Atlanta game. They called it in the fourth quarter with the Maurice Norris injury. They called that with like 12 minutes to go in the game. I mean, and shout out to Raheem Morris for recognizing something like that and saying, you know what, it's preseason. Let's send these guys home. Let's keep what we got. Let's keep the healthy ones healthy. We kind of suffered one casualty. Let's keep the rest healthy. So respect to Raheem Morris for making that call, making that judgment call there. Definitely liking, the thing I like about the preseason is like you will see like some undrafted guys just come out and like make a statement. You got the guy from Detroit against us scoring a touchdown, Chris Tesha. I believe that's what his name was, the wide receiver coming out scoring a touchdown. Easton Stick for us had a solid first game, had a solid first preseason game. And just you like it when the undrafted guys are going out there making plays and making a name for themselves, saying, "Hey, you know what? I want a spot." Just looking. I feel like with it being week 1 of the preseason, I think that's really what you're looking for more than anything, and just who's gonna come out of nowhere to really take a leap to possibly earn a roster spot for a lot of these franchises. And then of course the rookies for a lot of these teams coming out, making a name for themselves. Jaxson Dart coming out, Shedeur Sanders coming out, the Falcons rookie ends making a statement. Just a lot of good rookie plays so far. Like I'm digging. I was digging the first week of the preseasons so far. So I'm just ready to see this. I'm ready to see this kind of transpire. I'm ready to see who's going to make a statement, who's really going to take that leap to get roster spots, and who's going to solidify starting spots. So I'm definitely excited. I'm definitely excited for these next 3 weeks to see what future holds.
Yeah. What do you think about the fact that our newly drafted pass rusher can't stay out of fights in practice?
Love it. Love it. I love it. The Falcons haven't had this level of nastiness on the defensive side of the ball in a long time. I mean, you go all the way back. I mean, basically, like you're looking at John Abraham, like as far as like a nasty just presence on the defensive side of the ball. We haven't had that in a while, and like everybody's talking about James Pierce, and the fact that he was being triple teamed in his first preseason game. They were literally double teaming him, and then also having the tight end chip him. I mean, that's crazy. As a rookie defensive end, You're getting like superstar treatment your first preseason game. And let's not overlook the fact that Jalen Walker, even though he is still a little bit of a project when it comes to the pass rush, because he's just more along the lines of just athleticism and strength and just being able to bull rush. When you get to the National Football League, the bull rush can't be your only move. You have to develop go-tos. But I feel like Jalen Walker's IQ is going to be able to do so, and he's going to be able to really kind of develop new moves and become a force. Because I'll tell you what, one thing you can't say, he's not a force in the run game. He was very good against. He was very good setting the edge in that first game against the run. He was very good at that. So I definitely like what I saw from our defense in that first game. The nastiness, DeMarco Hellams, bam, bam. He earned that nickname. That hit he dropped on Craig Reynolds on that on that seam route was like, bro. That's another thing about the Falcon defense is like, do you like giving up 15-yard penalties? No. But every once in a while, it don't hurt. You kind of have to. I think that was a good tone setter for what fans should expect from the defense going forward this season. Like, I mean, it's just so many. Like, I think for me, that's like one of the not necessarily a question mark, but it's like who's gonna earn that strong safety spot? Like, is it gonna be Xavier Watts, who didn't do a whole lot his first game, but I think there's room for improvement. You got Xavier Watts, you got DeMarco Hellams, who I think in all intents and purposes was going to be the starter going in the last season before he like ruined his ankle and lost his season. So I think there's definitely there's some promise there. Jeff Ulbrich being back in Atlanta, I think he's comfortable here. He knows Raheem Morris. He knows the system. He knows what Raheem is going to expect. But at the same time, you have to go back to what he did with the New York Jets and the way he cultivated those defense and made them, for about a good 2 or 3 years running, one of the premier defenses in the league. And I think he can do that with Atlanta just from the standpoint that they were actually allowed to go and get the guys they felt best fit the scheme. And maybe we could see him cultivate something down here and watch it grow into something better, into hopefully, finally, a division title.
Do you think Bijan Robinson, does he have a chance to rush for, let's say, a 1,800 yard season this year? Or do you think they're going to just air it out like the Silver fan at a certain point in Atlanta?
I think for this offense to hit its peak, it has to be through play action. It has to be through rolling out Michael Penix. But it's based off of Bijan Robinson being Bijan Robinson. The fact that I think he's already a top 3. He's a top 5 lock. I think he's in the conversation for top 3. I think at the end of the day, the offense still needs to really go through the running game. It still needs to go through Bijan just for him doing this thing and getting his yards and taking that pressure off of Michael Penix Jr. and allowing him to be able to just fling it. I don't think they'll be able to fling it as effectively as they want to if Bijan Robinson isn't doing this thing in the running game and taking pressure off him to be able to run play action, to be able to run certain routes. That way Drake can get his, Darnell can get his, and hope and maybe possibly we could finally see the 2021 Kyle Pitts again with a lot more touchdowns.
Yeah. Do you think this is a do or die season for Kyle Pitts at this point?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In terms of being in Atlanta, absolutely. Part of me doesn't think they're going to bring him back either way. Part of me thinks they're not going to bring him back. But I think to kind of really salvage and revitalize his career, he needs to come out and he really needs to just dominate the middle of the field. Because I think for the first time, well, I can't even say. Well, the thing is, he had Kirk Cousins last year before he got hurt. Because before Kirk Cousins got hurt, Kyle Pitts was playing well. But then Kirk Cousins got hurt, and it kind of took away the effectiveness of the passing game. And the numbers that Kyle was starting to put up middle of the season went away because Kirk couldn't get him the ball as effective as he was early in the year. So I definitely think this is do or die. But I like the fact that Mike is already establishing a relationship with him, already building that camaraderie, already building chemistry in their route running, in their routes, in their concepts. So I'm looking at Kyle Pitts as definitely a do or die year, but I'm liking the fact that Michael Penix Jr. is looking at him and I feel like Michael Penix Jr. is kind of like one of those man of his word type players. If he says I'm going to get him the ball a lot, I really see Kyle Pitts getting the ball a lot. So, but still, this is definitely a do or die year for him because although I don't think he's going to get his money in Atlanta, if he has a really, really good year, he's going to get it somewhere. But then again, you never know. If he busts out and has like a really, really good year, Atlanta might look at that and be like, you know what? Nah, we can't let this talent. We can't let this high of a talent just walk for nothing because you could have traded him this offseason. So now you're looking at the prospect of him walking away and you not getting nothing for him. So if I'm Atlanta, if he has a big year, you might have to lock him up.
Listen, gotta ask this question. I know it's concerning our chief rivals, the Saints, but if you're Cam Jordan, do you try to get out of town because you don't see this team going anywhere fast?
I think if it gets to a see, we look at it from a perspective of the fans on the field. We don't know how it is like behind the scenes. We don't know how it's like at the facility. That main headquarters. We don't know how things are there. If Cam Jordan is like, if the respect is being shown at the headquarters, if they're still treating him like, they want him to be there behind the scenes, then by all means, if you want to be there, be there. I think it's just a matter of if the negativity really starts to seep in, which is basically like if this team starts off really bad and there's just nothing there, I think at some point he could possibly want to force his way out because I do think even though Cam Jordan isn't what he was, say, mid 2010s, he's still he can still set the edge. He can still set the edge. He can still get sacks. I mean, he's still a good defensive end. He's not what he was in the mid 2010s. Don't get me wrong, but he's still a decent enough end to where he can, if he wanted to leave the Saints, he could go to a contender and really add depth to a team trying to make a run to the playoffs, ultimately trying to get to a title. So I think he could. I think he's definitely the type of guy that a contender looks at, maybe one quality pass rusher away from really doing damage as being that missing piece. So I think it could ultimately get to that point with the Saints because it's just they show nothing that makes me think like dark horse playoff contender. They look like top 5 draft pick waiting to happen. But I mean, you never know. But they just look like a top 5 draft. They look like a top 5 2026 draft pick waiting to happen.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. Bryce Young, what are your thoughts about his play during the preseason?
I'm expecting Bryce that second half of 2020, that second half of 2024. I'm expecting it to carry over. I really am, because with Bryce, I saw like there was a confidence there, and he had a look and a fire about him that like wasn't there like the first year and a half of his career, and like the first year of his career, and then he got benched, and then he comes back and he just starts destroying people, and it's like, I mean, he looked like Alabama Bryce. He looked like Alabama Bryce, and I mean, and shout out to the Carolina Panthers for getting him weapons. Particularly Ted McMillan out of Arizona drafting him. You still have Jalen Coker. I think you still have Adam Thielen. I think you added Hunter Renfrow, who apparently they're saying he's been unguardable in training camp so far. So I mean, it's like, and you still have one of the up and coming backs in the league in Chuba Hubbard. So I mean, they got, for what it's worth, Carolina got some talent on the offensive side of the ball. And I didn't even mention Xavier Legette. So for what it's worth, Carolina has some talent on the offensive side of the ball. So Carolina is kind of like one of those teams on the up and up that can maybe possibly sneak a 6, 7 seed if all the cards fall right. So I'm expecting Bryce to carry over and have a big 2025.
Can you ever see this NFC South division ever again being like it was in the 2010s, where it was one of the most competitive divisions with two Hall of Famers in the form of Matt Ryan and Drew Brees, and an MVP in the form of Cam Newton? Can you ever see us getting back to that point with these crop of quarterbacks that they have now in the form of Baker Mayfield, Bryce Young, and Michael Penix Jr.? Do you see that happening anytime in the near future?
Very, 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 very possible. Very possible. Because I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's the quarterback play. It's the quarterback play. Particularly is how Michael Penix Jr. and Bryce Young continue to develop. Because if they turn into guys we think they're ultimately going to grow to, this could be early 2010s NFC South all over again. And I mean, we can. What kind of bias being down here watching NFC South, but that period in the early 2010s, you couldn't show me a better top to bottom division than the NFC South. As a matter of fact, since realignment, you can't show me a better up and down division than the NFC South. And that's even with the past struggles with one team making the playoffs with a less than 500 record or barely 500 record. I mean, since realignment, the NFC West and the NFC South are the only two divisions since realignment that has gotten every team to the Super Bowl at least one time. At least one time. Every team in that division has made the Super Bowl at least once. So you kind of have to like really, really. That's what I want to see. I want to see Michael Penix become the guy I feel like he can be. Ultimately, I think Bryce Young's got it in him to really continue this growth that he showed on the back end of 2024. Baker Mayfield's Baker Mayfield. I mean, Baker Mayfield is a borderline top 10 quarterback in this league. And Baker Mayfield's in the top 10 quarterback discussion. You hate what's going on with the Saints because they have no quarterback to speak of. I mean, you're looking at a choice of Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shaw, and Jake Haener as potentially your QB1. No. Like, where's Alvin Kamara? You want to talk about somebody that need to be begging to get up out of there. Boy, Alvin Kamara, the talent that he still is, what he could bring to it, what he could take to a contending roster that maybe needs a running back, a guy like him who can still run the ball out the backfield, can still catch. I mean, his biggest thing was always staying healthy. But yeah, I think this division can definitely get back to what it was in the early 2010s when it was like Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, Drew Brees. It was like if you're a team outside of that division, you love seeing them beat up on each other, but you hate it when they had to go up against your team because you knew they were gonna put some on you. So I think it could get back to them days. I mean, it's all on quarterback play and quarterback development. But I think with Penix and Bryce Young, I think they hold the keys to their franchises as far as what kind of success they're going to have in the next 5 to 10 years. So, but I think they're gonna grow. I personally think they have it in them to just both be all world talents that can really help kind of bring back some glory to the NFC South.
Okay, then. So moving on to the next segment, Jaxson Dart and Shedeur Sanders' debut. What are your thoughts about that?
Shedeur looked good. Shedeur looked really good. I haven't really had a chance to really look at Jaxson Dart. I do want to, when I get a chance, I do want to look at his all 22. But from what I'm hearing, it was a good performance. It was a good debut. I kind of want to watch his all 22, just kind of see what it was. But I was able to catch Shedeur Sanders all 22, and it was like the accuracy. I think the scary part with Shedeur Sanders. We watched him in Colorado. We know he was an accurate passer. We knew he was an accurate passer. We knew he had the traits to play the quarterback position as far as his pocket presence and his arm and whatnot. But I think what he showed in that first preseason game against the Carolina Panthers, it was his ability. It was his mobility. His ability to run and his ability to be able to kind of reset the pocket. I think if the mobility really shows himself, I think Shedeur Sanders can be a scary player as long as he's able to maintain his accuracy and his quarterback IQ. I think, like I said, I don't think that was one. And it, I just like some of the throws he was making, and moving his ability to make plays. I mean, it was just I was definitely impressed by Shedeur. But yeah, I haven't had a chance to really look at Jaxson Dart too much, but I will hopefully at some point look at his. I want to look at his all 22. I want to see what he did and how he played, because I'll tell you, for what it's worth, Jaxson Dart has like insane intangibles, like his arm strength, just his athleticism. I mean, the dude has he has an insane ceiling. But New York Giants quarterbacks really outside of Eli Manning ain't been too trustworthy. So I do kind of, like I said, I want to analyze him and see how he played and how I feel like his skill set is going to translate to the next level. But I tell you, I did see it. Shedeur's all 22. And even though it was kind of like one of those preseason games where it's like you're not really worried about like the depth chart and all this other stuff, is about getting guys experience. He looked good. Shedeur Sanders was really, really good.
All right. I gotta ask this question. I know this is unrelated to the NFL, but I gotta squeeze this in there. What do you think about the UFC going to Paramount at this point?
Oh man. Jesus. Honestly, with the UFC making the Paramount move and the WWE making the ESPN move, it's like, whoa, like how much in debt are you, TKO? how far in depth are you really making moves like this? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's gonna bring money to the product, which is ultimately what you want, because you're gonna have your diehards that are gonna get this, that are gonna order, that are gonna buy it, and they're gonna watch these shows no matter what. But yeah, they're gonna buy it, they're gonna get it no matter what. But then you have those that were, almost, kind of like me. I kind of fall in this category. Like, you like the fact, particularly the WWE. You like the fact that it's available. That is a little cheaper. That you don't necessarily have to that you're not necessarily having to spend like $30, $40, $50 a PLE. Because hey, you have the network, you already got the access, you got free access to it if you own the network. So I mean, I'm like one of those watchers that just enjoy that fact, and just, man, I don't really know how I feel about it yet, but I just hope it doesn't ruin it for because I wouldn't necessarily call myself a casual fan, because I love WWE, and I'm a UFC guy. I've always been a UFC fan. I've always been a UFC supporter. I like talking UFC, but I just hope it doesn't kill it for those who might not necessarily have the capabilities necessarily afford it on a regular basis like other fans do. So I will kind of just see what the future holds on that one. I just hope it doesn't really. I just feel like it's going to affect the casual fans who can't necessarily afford it like that, and don't necessarily want to have to spend extra money just to be able to watch certain events like that.
Okay. What are your thoughts about what PSP was saying? Shedeur confronting the reporter, and I don't really call it a confrontation. I call it really, shooting the stuff because you see how the reporter was laughing about it and everything like that. What are your thoughts about it? Big deal or no big deal?
It's I mean, I don't think it's really that big a deal. I mean, it's one thing if he he called the reporter out his name and all that other stuff, but I mean, ain't that. I mean, it ain't that big of a deal. I think people that are going to make a big deal about this already don't like Shedeur Sanders in the first place, so they're just going to find something to kind of tag on to him. But like me personally, I mean, it ain't that big a deal. I mean, the dude, what do you expect? This dude already got a boulder on his shoulder from the standpoint that a lot of people just pass over him just for the standpoint of what his last name is, who his daddy is. And then, all the news and the reports that were coming out as far as him being mad about the coach, as far as like the interview he had with Brian Daboll and all of those stuff. And just, people already kind of have it out for him. So, I mean, he can breathe the wrong way and people are going to be like, see, I told you. So, no, I personally don't think it's that big a deal at all.
It's kind of like what you said. Piggyback on what you said. If you do so much as breathe wrong. Remember that scene? What's that movie with kid that played it with Class Act?
Yeah.
Class Act. When dude told Play, I think it was either kid or Play. No, it was Play. Where he was Blade Brown. He said, "If I catch you fighting, if I catch you so much as wiping your ass sideways, we'll put you in jail." That's how it feels with Shedeur Sanders at this point. They catch him so much as wiping his ass sideways, they go try to gun for him.
Yes, yeah, they are, and it's crazy because ultimately at the end of the day, man, the kid just want to play football, and this is what people got to understand about Shedeur Sanders. He don't need the money. He has a lifestyle. He's set. His daddy is Deion Sanders, the greatest cornerback in the history of the sport. Has made a bunch of money from football and TV and endorsements. And now he's coaching at the University of and now he's coaching at Colorado. So I mean, Shedeur doesn't need this money. So I'm surprised people aren't really looking at that. Huh?
Wesley made $10 million himself in NIL. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's like I'm surprised a lot of people aren't looking at that and be like, man, you know what? He don't need this money, but the fact that he's still going out there grinding, trying to prove that he could be a quarterback on the next level, man, you have to respect that because he doesn't need any of this. He could rest on his laurels and sit at home and enjoy that Sanders money, but he ain't doing that. So I got respect for him. The fact that he still wants to go out and prove himself and be his own man, and not just living off the family name and just living off the family riches. He's trying to go out and make a name for himself. You have to respect that.
Yes, indeed. So, moving on to the next segment, man. What do you think about Travis Hunter's debut? In fact, he played both sides of the ball. What do you think about that?
Ooh, it was all right. I mean, he missed a tackle. He kind of got a cookie in coverage. He kind of ate a little bit in coverage. So, I mean, everybody's gonna be like, oh, everybody's kind of freaking out because he had an unimpressive first week. I'm like, it's the first week of the preseason. I feel like especially the big name rookies. I feel like they need time to go out and get their feet wet. They're still learning concepts. They're still learning coverages. And with Travis Hunter's case, he's learning wide receiver concepts. He's learning defensive keys in the backfield. He's reading this. He's reading that. I mean, just there's things he's got to. There's things he's gonna have to learn at the next level as far as like play calling and just having to be quicker as far as like his instincts and stuff. On the NFL level because This is one thing that rookies are going to learn when they get to the NFL. These are all grown men. These are all grown men, and then they trying to put food on their family's table as well. So they all coming out, giving it they all, and the speed of the game in the NFL. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, yes, are the players getting more athletic? Of course they are. It's evolution, but the NFL is still, in terms of speed, leaps and bounds ahead of college football.
Yeah.
In terms of just in terms of just the sheer depth of athlete at the NFL level, still leaps and bounds. So I think he'll learn from it, and I think he'll get better. But yeah, that's just one of those you kind of have to put in the backpack. You know what I'm saying? It's basically like notes. You put in the backpack. You sit in the classroom. When it's time to study, you pull it out. You look over a few things. Understand what you did well. Understand what you need to improve on. I feel like Travis Hunter is one of those guys. I feel like he's a perfectionist anyway. So he's going to go out there and he's going to look to get better week in and week out. So I'm not really that worried about it. I think if this was like 5-6 weeks in the regular season, excuse me, if this was like 5-6 weeks in the regular season, or really midway in the regular season, and he was kind of like not really improving that much, then we have something to talk about. But right now, he's you know what I'm saying, let him catch up to this. He's got to get the speed of the game. I think, like I said, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. All these rookies just need time to grow, whether they're on offense or whether they're on defense. They need time to grow, to understand the speed of the game that they're dealing with, and then just taking it 1 week at a time and going from there.
Awesome. Do you think that this is speaking of the Jaguars, is this a flat out do or die year for Trevor Lawrence? Can you see him getting traded if he doesn't have a good year?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I understand it's like, yeah, he signed that contract and all that, but hey, at the end of the day, if I'm the Jacksonville Jaguars, if Trevor Lawrence doesn't have a good season this year, you really have no choice but to chalk that draft pick up as an L and push and keep it moving. And you know, at this point, it's like where do you go? I mean, can you really afford to allow him to stay there if he doesn't have a good year? Well, I think it's do or die for Trevor Lawrence, because he's already bordering and touching that bust line anyway. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't have a good year this year, I think he'll fully cross over that line if he doesn't have a good year.
Yeah. Do you think that this is the team that can at least get him to? Does he have enough, you will say, to get him at least to the playoffs?
Still gonna say no, because I still think at this point in time in the AFC South, Houston is still the standard of that division, and I think the Indianapolis Colts are better. So I think, and you can make a case of Jacksonville Jaguars. You can make a case of the worst team in that division, because Tennessee is at least trying to do something. Tennessee at least trying to do something. Now, and I'm definitely intrigued with what Cam Ward is going to do now, being, in my opinion, probably going to be the starter, because I mean, Will Levis is out for the year. So I'm definitely intrigued to see what Cam Ward does. I really think you can make a case Jacksonville's the worst team in that division. So yeah, for Trevor. So this is what I'm gonna say. Even if Jacksonville has a bad year record-wise, Trevor Lawrence can still play well to a point where it's like, you know what? Okay, Jacksonville was bad, but it wasn't his fault.
Yeah. Anthony Richardson, he's out hurt again. Is this a make or break year for him? And can he even make it through a season at this point?
Man, I was on the fence with him anyway, because I remember what he did at Florida, and he wasn't that great in Florida. I mean, people were just looking at the athleticism and the arm strength that he had. Like, if there was a literal picture by the term raw project, is Anthony Richardson. So, yeah, man, let me tell you something. I saw that injury and I saw that finger, and I'm like, bless his heart. My gosh, I saw that injury. That was nasty. But yeah, I said this like earlier, like in the offseason, and I'm gonna say this now. If Anthony Richardson, by hook or crook, loses his starting job to Daniel Jones, just pack it up. Pack it up. Pack it up. You lose your job to Daniel Jones? Nah. We can't have this. Because you saw Daniel Jones with the New York Giants. Outside of one good year where he was carried by Saquon Barkley, he's not good. So you mess around and lose your starting job to him. Oh, you can just put them fry. You can put the whole large fry in the bag on that one. Like just bro.
Trap them and knock them and leave them done. So,
Basically.
hey, there's a lot of players in contract disputes right about now. Micah Parsons and Terry McLaurin being two of the main names. One of the smaller names, I wouldn't say smaller names, but one of the, not so big of a name is, I will say, James Cook from University of Georgia. Now, he has led the league in rushing touchdown. They don't feed him as well as I would like them to be honest with you. I don't like the fact that they don't feed him. I really think that if you have a monster, you should feed him. But, I mean, he did lead the league in rushing touchdowns, I think, like a year and a half, like not this past season, but the season. Hold on, let me look real quick. He did. This past season, he led the league in rushing touchdowns with 16, and he rushed for over 1,000 yards, and he only got like 200. He only got like 200 carries, 207 carries to be precise. So I believe if they took the time to feed him a little bit more, I think he'll be an asset. And he's only 25 years old. It's not like he's one of these old backs that, approaching 29. Do you think that the Buffalo Bills should trade him at this point? And if you do you see a trade for Micah Parsons and James Cook happening if they throw in, let's say, a first-round pick?
If I'm the Buffalo Bills, I am not trading James Cook. If I'm the Buffalo Bills, I am not trading him. I'm not, because I mean, you trading James Cook is almost assuring Josh Allen is going to get his butt kicked this year. I mean, we already know as far as like his, because you bring it up all the time, his usage as far as like calling plays for him, whether it's his passing or whether his running ability. We know the usage is high with him.
Super high.
James Cook.
Higher than my comfort level, to be honest with you. I don't like the fact that they overuse it.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't care who's available. I'm not trading James Cook just based on the value he brings to the Buffalo Bills and taking a lot of that rushing burden and pressure off of Josh Allen. If they just need to find a way to get him the ball more. Whether it be more carries out of the backfield, whether it's lining him up more, getting him more targets in the passing game. They need to really find a way to fully utilize his talents and really take some more burden off of Josh Allen. Yeah, if I'm the Buffalo Bills, unless the offer is just transcending. So I guess if you want to say a Micah Parsons or somebody like that, but even still, the value James Cook brings to my offense, knowing that I have a Josh Allen at quarterback, knowing what that means, I am personally not trading James Cook.
Okay. Hey, I don't blame you there. I believe that Josh Allen's usage rate is way too high. I think they use him a little bit too much in situations where they need to use James Cook. I don't think that your usage for your quarterback should be over 85%. That's way too much. I mean, it's too much. And when you get to a point where it's like, hey, when it gets to a certain point, you have to weigh, is it worth it to keep running him like that? Because eventually you keep pulling that trigger, eventually it's going to go off. It's going to go off.
Exactly.
So, I mean, is it worth it at a certain point, or do you need to just dial this thing back and say, hey, we need to chill on this thing? Because the thing is, like I said, they overuse it. I don't think unless you are a quarterback like a Lamar Jackson, where you specifically have, you know, it's where the read option, a lot of things kind of where you just run the offense like that, and you have that type of quarterback. And even with him, you really saw them really literally utilize uh Derrick Henry. You really saw them use King Henry a hell of a lot in order to cut down on some of his usage with it, with him running. Matter of fact, I think they only had a certain amount of carries as far as Lamar Jackson was concerned, although he rushed for over 900 yards. But I really think that they should really be careful about how they're handling him at this point, because I don't like the way that they are handling his usage rate. That is
Agreed.
that is too much. When your quarterback is the running game, the passing game, and the damn short yardage game, and everything like that, I can understand him being that talented, and I understand that. But when you're using him a little bit too much, it's like, look, you need to dial this thing back because it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's not like Buffalo doesn't have good weapons there. I mean, they have Dalton Kincaid, they have Keon Coleman. I mean, they still have they still have Knox. They still have Knox there. So I mean, it's not like they don't have good players down there. I mean, for them to really develop the way you want to, you gotta let Josh Allen, flame. You gotta let him flame that rock around. You got to. You have to allow them to grow in the offense too. Because if it's just gonna be so dominated by Josh Allen, then I mean, like, you're really kind of you're not only setting your team up for failure in the season, but you're setting him up down the line of his career. If he keeps taking the punishment that he's taking, it's going to catch up. Father Time will always be undefeated. You outside of maybe like a LeBron James or a Tom Brady, who are who are like anomalies and exceptions to the rule. Father Time is undefeated. It will catch up to Josh Allen eventually if they keep using him the way they do.
Yes, I agree. I really think they need to cut down on his usage rate because that's too much. It's too much, and it's got to stop at a certain point. It has got to stop. I don't think that they use him way too much for comfort. And when you use your quarterback like that, when he's the running game, the passing game, the short yardage game, and he doing all of that, I see why he won the MVP because he's just that. But it's kind of time to dial it back on his usage rate. Uh, what are your thoughts on Dak Prescott and the NFC Championship comments with him and the owner of the LA Rams?
It's funny because I had no idea about the comments. I first read the comments today, and then I read those comments, and then it just further reminds me of why I feel the way I feel about the Dallas Cowboys. It reminds me of how I feel the way I feel about them, because ain't no way fan delusion is bad enough. Now we got Dak Prescott telling Stan Kroenke, we're gonna see you in the NFC Championship game this year. I'm like, Philly's got to be like, you got to be kidding me. Even the Washington Commanders are like, boy, if you don't shut up. I mean, it's just like,
What about
there's
this?
like,
Boy, if you don't get your
boy, if you don't get, yeah, that mean like, boy, if you don't get your, like, this is too. There are too many teams in the NFC that can lay claim to an NFC title berth before the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, Philly has more of a claim. Washington has more of a claim. Green Bay, Detroit, Tampa, Atlanta. Heck, I think the Chicago Bears have more of a claim right now than the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, just Dak, you got a lot to prove this year. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You you had no business. You had no business going out saying that. Like, no, NFC championship game, bro. Make the playoffs. Aim for a wild card spot, bro. You ain't make y'all ain't 1996. Okay, 1996 is the last time you've been there. Every team in the NFC since 1996, every team in the NFC except you has gotten to at least one NFC championship game. Every single one after the Washington Commanders made the NFC championship game last year. Every single team has made it, with the exception of you, since 1996. So can we temper those expectations just a little bit? Let's have a winning record. Let's keep everybody healthy. Let's make sure we're in contention the last month or two of this season before we start talking about NFC championship games. Like, pump the brakes just a little bit.
Do you think that they have the capability with this roster in order to do so?
Completely honest?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
No.
Even with the addition of George Pickens, the great draft that they've had, and all of the moves that they made during the offseason, even with George Pickens outside on the other side of CD Lamb?
No, because you trust Rico. I mean, your back. You trust Rico Dowdle and Jaden Blue as your backfield. I mean, do you trust the fact that you may have Michael Parsons coming into this year, but you do realize even with him, your run defense was still garbage, and your your run defense was garbage, and your secondary was T-Rash. So so it's like unless your defense is back to like what it was doing like 2016 through like 2020 or whatnot, unless you're back to doing that, then no, I do not see the Dallas. I'm gonna go out and make a prediction right here. The Dallas Cowboys are not making the NFC Championship game. I'm gonna go out and lay it out and make a prediction right now. The Dallas Cowboys are not making the NFC Championship game. No, I do not think their roster is good enough as constructed to get there. Even with the addition of George Pickens. I'm not saying they don't have skill players. I mean, they just re-signed Jake Ferguson, which they needed to do because he had a heck of a year last year. He's coming to his own as a tight end. You got CD Lamb, top 5 wide receiver conversation. George Pickens might have the best set of hands in the National Football League. But who you stopping on defense? Who are you stopping? And honestly, that's what it boils down to me with the Dallas Cowboys, because they are a front running defense. You give them a lead, them boys will rush you out of the building. But if you keep it close, they will look like a deer in headlights trying to hit you. So I do not trust that defense in close games. They have yet to give me a reason to trust them in close games, and I'm not going to do so until they show me something this year to where they can withstand that type of adversity and that type of pressure in close game situations. Because no, like I want to see them, but I don't want. We know what they can do with a lead. I want to see them. I want to see what they can do down 7, down 10, late in the game. Can they make stops when they know the offense has a lead and they're trying to kill the clock and they're trying to run the ball? Can they make stops, get the offense off the field, get the opposing offense back off the field, get their offense back on the field, and let them do their thing? I don't trust the Dallas Cowboys defense at all.
Even if they was to trade for James Cook and somehow keep Michael Parsons, do you think that they would have a chance then?
Even with James Cook, no. Even with James Cook, no, because it still falls on the line of the run defense. The run defense is horrible, and they really didn't do a lot to really improve it. Now, don't get me. I think the Tyler Booker draft pick is going to be good for them. I think he's going to be a good guard. I think he's going to bring something to that offensive line. I think he's going to be a good guard for him. And I think the offensive line is going to be better this year for the Dallas Cowboys. I do. But as far as that run defense is concerned, it's how they say. I think they'll. I don't know, man. It's like the style of defense that they want to play. You would think with the style of defense they want to play, being aggressive, like putting a hat on a hat, being an aggressive style of defense, you would think their run defense would be a little bit better, but their run defense is god awful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. God awful. I mean, look, let me ask you this last question. Let's stay on the subject of the Cowboys real quick. I know we are still awaiting no rival or fast, but I got to ask you this. Can you see the same thing, God forbid, something happens with Jerry Jones as far as, him succumbing or him leaving this earth or, getting sick? Can you see the same thing happen with the Cowboys that happened with my Los Angeles Lakers, with them being traded to a big, huge ownership as far as the NFL is concerned? Because it seems like the old school model of the NFL and the NBA is leaving. It seems like that model is kind of leaving, and, the whole loyal owners and the mom and pop shop owners are leaving, and these big corporation owners are taking over. Can you see something like that happening with Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys if he were to succumb to, let's say, an illness or something like that, and Stephen Jones says, to hell with this, I don't need this, I'm gonna just let the team, I'm gonna just let this be somebody else's headache? Can you see somebody doing that? And how much do you think the Cowboys would be worth?
It's possible. You saw. The Lakers just went through it, so it's not like it's not possible. I don't know. I just feel like I don't know, Steven. I feel like Stephen Jones. I don't know if he'd want to give. I don't know if he'd want to give up the franchise like so soon or suddenly like that. Even if something was to happen to Jerry Jones, I don't think he'd be willing to like part with the franchise like that. But then again, you never know. Hey, you never know. The right offer could absolutely just be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, hey, yeah, the right offer, yeah, you can have them. But I guess there is a scenario to where like it could happen. I think there's a scenario for anything. So I definitely think there's a scenario to where it could happen. Yeah, like you said, like one of these like these enterprises or these like up and coming like big time marketing groups just come in and just present the right check and kind of give the Dallas Cowboys give the current regime no choice but to take the offer. So there's always a line. There's always a scenario.
There he is.
What's happening?
What's happening?
Not much. How's everybody? Okay.
You looking good, man. You've been pumping that iron, looking good, man. Show us the gun show real quick, man.
trying to get rid of these titties. They gotta go.
Well, technically they ain't titties, they middies. Man titties, middies. We call them middies.
They used to be kind of they used to be kind of pointy. Now they're just kind of like moundy. So I'll take moundy over pointy. So
yeah. Yeah, we don't
damn.
Yeah, we don't need to look like Ice Fox, you know what I'm saying?
No. Got enough of that going around. So how are my guys doing?
Looking like who?
We don't need you looking like Ice Fox.
Boy, quit saying them names in public like that, boy. Don't nobody need to know all that.
Or like early pixelated Laura Croft. Like we don't.
Yeah, we don't need you looking like that. That's bad.
No, that's bad. That in the wise words of Charles Barkley, that's terrible. So that's terrible.
That's terrible, man. That's terrible.
So,
right, so where are we at?
So let's get your opinion on each of these because we didn't get yours at first. So Knife and Flash to join us. What are your thoughts? I'm just gonna go backwards and then I'm gonna go up. What are your thoughts on Dak Prescott telling the owner, Stan Kroenke, that he'll see them in the NFC Championship. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, that's cute. Look, I've always felt that Dak gets the right amount of criticism, and that franchise and the Cowboys franchise gets the right amount of criticism. I've also been kind of a defender of Jerry Jones, and he's put together actually really good teams. They just fail in the playoffs, and Dak's a part of that. I'm sorry, but that's cute, and I like your confidence. But that's like the Buffalo Bills back in the '90s going to the 5th Super Bowl and be like, we're going to get that ring this year. It's like, Dak, just hush, just go do your thing. Go do it, and then prove it in the playoffs. You don't need to talk. There is no need to talk. Just go do things, and then maybe you'll get the respect that you want. But let's not. You're not Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or Patrick Mahomes or anybody, Jalen Hurts, to be running your mouth like we'll see in the NFC Championship game. Like, you're not Matt Stafford. You're not even like calm down. I'll put this, like, Jordan Love's gotten closer to the Super Bowl than he has. So, let's Baker Mayfield's gotten closer to the Super Bowl than he has. Rex Grossman's been in a Super Bowl. So let's just calm down here, little Mr. Dak. Let's just chill out. So that's my opinion on that.
Okay. And number 2, before we meant to do this at the beginning of the show, man, everybody knows that Flash from Wisconsin, man. Shout out to the people in Milwaukee County. They're going through the floods right now. So I forgot to do that at the beginning of the show. But now that Flash is here, I just want to send a shout out to Milwaukee at this point. And man, everybody's going through their own little storm, and that flood is not looking good. So shout out to the people of Milwaukee County, man.
Yeah, I was pretty lucky. It came down by me pretty hard, but most of the people that lived out by me, I live a little farther north, and our basements weren't, at least most people that I know, our basements weren't flooded, but more people around the Milwaukee area, they got. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the videos, but man, it was
nasty. It
was bad.
I've seen some steel shots. Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, I haven't seen a flood like that in this area since I was a little kid. So that's some, I mean, they were saying that the storm that's come through here is like once in 1,000 years that we get this type of storm. So it was that
like a hurricane or something.
No, we don't get hurricanes here. Like, we get tornadoes here, but it was just a thunderstorm. Like, it was just a massive, massive thunderstorm that it didn't stop. Like, I posted that one TikTok when I was sitting outside watching the rain. It didn't stop raining hard for over 24 hours. Like, it just kept coming. Yeah, it just, like, our downspouts, the water was coming down so fast on it by me, even on my house, that the downspout couldn't keep up. Like, it looked like the downspout was clogged, and it wasn't. It was just, there was so much water that it couldn't, like, gravity couldn't keep up with it. Like, that's how much it was coming down.
Damn.
So yeah, it was something else. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in my lifetime. If I have, I was real young when I did.
Yeah. Shout out to the people of Milwaukee. We love you. Hey man, we will pray for it. We'll be our thoughts and prayers, our true prayers. I know a lot of people say thoughts and prayers and then don't do anything but go in the kitchen and eat at night. But I can assure you, we will be giving you our thoughts and prayers, man. So Godspeed to every last one of you guys in Wisconsin. Should the Buffalo Bills trade James Cook? Flash, you have the floor.
Depends on what they can get for him. I mean, I'm of the opinion, unless you have someone like a Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry, backs are a dime a dozen for the most part in this day and age. I know the running game has seemingly been making its way back into the NFL, which is great, but I still think you can get a serviceable running back if you have an average or above average offensive line. At this point, if you can get even more help on that defense, even though they got Bosa, more help on that defense and give Josh Allen a little bit more help on the line or anywhere else, why not? I would.
Yeah. Travis Hunter's debut.
I didn't see it, so no comment. What did he do?
He played both sides of the ball. He did miss a tackle or two, but he did play. I think it was 32 snaps. So he got cooked a little bit. He got browned a little bit in the secondary, but he did a damn good job when he was playing wide receiver. So I think they're going to lean towards using him more as wide receiver than they do as far as cornerback is concerned.
I think so too. I've always kind of thought that, and I'm curious to see. I know he's he is adamant about playing both sides of the ball still. So I'm curious to see how that goes. Like, does he have the stamina to do that? Because it's a different thing going from the college to the NFL. Like, it just is. It's a different speed. And so if he played now this is a preseason game, he played 32 snaps. I don't know like the divide between offense and defense, but I think it'll be a really interesting thing to watch and to see how he does.
Shedeur Sanders and Jaxson Dart's debut. What are your thoughts on both of their debuts?
I've always been a person that the talk coming out of preseason or play come out of preseason is either overblown or underblown. Look, let's just be honest. Shedeur Sanders is playing against guys that aren't going to be playing in the NFL in a couple weeks. So it just is what it is. If he couldn't perform against that, then we'd have some problems. So I'm not surprised he played well. Jaxson Dart too. I saw good things. I saw there was a lot of with Jaxson Dart, there was a lot of concern about his accuracy and like his ball placement. I saw some really good thrown balls and really good ball placement at times. So, but I think he's still a very raw talent. So that's just going to take time. And Shedeur, there's been some question on whether he can like go through progressions and, and not rely on his athletic ability. And he showed some of that. So there's promise, but I also don't want to like all the people that got on X or Twitter or whatever, or TikTok, and like, everybody was wrong. It's like, whoa. This is one preseason game against fourth and fifth stringers that probably aren't going to be playing in a couple weeks. So let's calm down on both. But it's better that they did play well than they played poorly. I'll say that. Like that's the good thing. They both played, I thought, well. So if I'm the Browns and the Giants, at least I feel good. I don't feel bad, but let's pump the brakes on the Hall of Fame for both of them real quick.
Preseason Hall of Fame in the case of the
let's calm down here.
Okay, this is a segment that I've been waiting on because I want to ask you this personally because as we switch it to the WNBA a little bit, and this is really your segment, Flash, so I'm going to ask you this. Is Kelsey Plum becoming more unlikable with some of the cheap on-the-court antics at this point?
Yeah. Dude, she like, I'm just being blunt. She's an asshole. Like, she just is. It's not even just on the court. Like there's stuff off the court that she's done too. The stuff when she called out Caitlin Clark's team that wasn't needed. Like and here's the other thing too. Whether she was joking or not, that was a time for like the players to be unified against, the league and to get a new collective bargaining agreement. That is the total lack of self-awareness. And then when that fan asked her for an autograph and she was just like, no, that's weird. Like, Look, I understand there's a different dynamic because it's a man asking a woman. I understand that. But, like, you're on camera. You have security with you. Like, you are in the process of trying to grow this league and being an asshole. There's a difference between being chippy, and Sophie Cunningham, or even some of the stuff that Angel Reese has done where it's chippy, but like she's just straight up being an asshole. And I don't know if it's to garner attention for herself or if it's legit. I don't know what you guys what your guys' thoughts on it. You guys are more of a WNBA guys than I am. So I don't know what your thoughts are.
She wasn't like this when she was in Las Vegas, I would say. I mean, I don't know what you may have saw BRF, but probably because she wasn't the focal point of the offense, Asia Wilson, and a lot of those other players were. But she wasn't like this when she was in Las Vegas. I think that now that she has the more of a star role, and that star role is back, much like she had when she was in Washington, as far as the Huskies were. I mean, she's back in that star role, and it's kind of like crazy. But there's some cheap stuff that she's been doing. It's kind of crazy, but I mean, and I really think that I think two things can be true, man. I hate to steal PSP's quote all the time, but I will say two things can be true. You might be doing this to garner attention so that you can be because, like you said, the league is kind of lacking a villain at this point, a good villain. And what better villain than for you to be in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
You're in Los Angeles. Everybody hates you anyway. Everybody hates you anyway. So you already in a glamour town, which I'm a Laker fan, but, it's kind of overrated. I'm just going to be real because I didn't know. Hey, man, look, in Atlanta, parties don't stop until like 8 in the morning. In L.A., they stop at 2 in the morning. So, I mean, it's kind of like when they talk about L.A. nightlife, I'm like, huh? Where I'm from, the party don't start at 8 in the morning. This started. I'm trying to go to another club at 2. I'm leaving one club, going to the next one back in the heyday. But,
I just don't. My thing is I don't know. It's just like there's you can be chippy. Like you can get away with some of the stuff that she does if you're likable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like she's just not likable. So I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's like there's a different if you're like likable off the court and you're chippy on the court.
Like Dennis Rodman.
Yeah. Or I'm trying to think of or even Draymond Green. Like, he's got some like controversial opinions, but for the most part, he's likable. Charles Barkley is one of the most likable personalities ever because he's blunt and honest, and on the court, he was Charles Barkley, and if you're likable, we'll almost forgive anything as sports fans, but she's just not likable. Like there's nothing likable about her. Like she's just kind of an a-hole. And and maybe this league does need a villain, but you have to be really good to be the villain. I think part of the reason why the Angel Reese villain thing didn't take off is because Chicago stinks as a team. So it's different when you're like the Miami Heat and you're,
going up against Dirk.
Yeah, and you're going and you're and you're going to the finals, or if you're the Chiefs and you're going to this, there's a difference between being a villain and being great and being a villain and you stink. If you stink,
because the villain role didn't really work for the Oakland Raiders. Well, the Las Vegas Aces, the Las Vegas Raiders, once they start stinking up the joint. That villain role really wasn't. It wasn't cute no more. It's like you can't go around here doing the most and you stink, But what's your opinion, BRF?
I get. You know what? Now here's the thing, though. I'm with you, champ. I'm kind of. It's like a two things can be true type of deal because, I mean, we could talk about Kelsey Plum, as far as like her likability or whatnot. One thing you can't gloss over for her, she is having a big year for the Sparks. That's one thing we cannot gloss over. She has been balling this year, so we can't gloss over that. Win-loss record, whatever.
That's my point.
She's been balling this year. She's been balling this year. But yeah, I mean, like some attention. I would, I guess you don't want to. You're kind of not in that. You don't have like leverage to be like, trying to. You want notoriety. You're trying to expand the game. You're trying to get it to a level that we haven't seen with the WNBA. I mean, I guess there has to be a little more self-awareness with her as far as like attitude, what to say, what not to say, whether you're joking or not. She's got to understand that everybody's not going to take it as such. So she kind of has to like, I guess she does kind of have to do better to a certain extent. But I mean, I think with what she's shown this year and the year she's had in LA this year, her a little slack, but she does kind of still need to like really be aware of certain things that she say in certain situations, because everybody's not going to be as nice. Everybody's not going to be as forgiving in terms of like, everybody's not going to gloss over like what she says, because, because like at the end of the day, you're a good player, but you're not like one of the faces of the league still. So it's like, okay, you good, but like, should that really be coming from you?
You ain't Angel Wilson good.
No, and then that's the thing too.
Yeah,
what I'm
saying?
Like, and maybe Sophie Cunningham isn't as good of a basketball player as you, but one, she's hot, and two, she's a legit badass, and she's likable.
Well, Kelsey Plum is hot too. Now let's not get it twisted.
I'm not saying she's hot, but she's nowhere near Sophie Cunningham hot.
No, she's better than Sophie Cunningham. I got to disagree with you on that one, man.
Kelsey Plum. Hey, I mean, I get the attraction with Sophie Cunningham, but Kelsey Plum is fine. Okay, Kelsey Plum is fine. I mean, we're sitting here clowning Darren Waller for fumbling that. So I'm just saying,
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it goes a long way whether you're likable or not. And I don't know. I just
I think she's one of those players where it's like, as long as her teammates like her, she good. I think she's legit like that. I think as long as her teammates like her, I think she all right. I think she's legit one of those.
Do you think, and you could attest to this, do you think she has a little bit of the Diana Taurasi type of syndrome that she has?
A little bit. I mean, it's not full blown because she's not the player Diana Taurasi was, but I mean, it's a little bit there. It's a little bit there, but you got to think though. Diana Taurasi is in the WNBA GOAT conversation, so Kelsey Plum ain't on that level. But there's a little bit of it. I can see it.
Yeah, because Diana Taurasi. Go ahead.
Kelsey Plum's like, she's all right. She's got that Joker smile that just kind of, I don't know.
Everybody been saying that.
She got
like if you're going off of like, if you're going off of if you're going with like a tier list as far as like WNBA players this season, Kelsey Plum would probably be. Oh gosh, she'd be kind of bordering between second tier, third tier, as far as like players this season. She's kind of in that second, third tier as far as like players and what they've done this season. So I mean, it's not like she's having a great year, but yeah, it's like hey, you fine, so you can get away with some of this too. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's one of those where it's like you can't talk about wanting to expand the league and wanting to bring notoriety to the league, bringing eyes to the league, and then it's like, some of the instances you've had is like,
I want to say like that even more so than the Caitlin Clark team joke or whatever when they were for All-Star Weekend. The fan interaction thing, like you can't, like that looks bad. It just looks bad. The optics look bad. It just does. You can't be begging for fans and then, like I guarantee a year prior, nobody would have been asking for Kelsey Plum's autograph. And except for like the random, kid that's at the game possibly, but so I'm just saying it's been a weird, and now maybe, I don't know if this, I'm kind of curious, like we're old enough, but not quite old enough. Like I'm curious. I would love to go back to the 70s and 80s and watch the rise of the NBA. And to see if there was this kind of like stupidity and pettiness.
I don't think so. The thing is, I will say this. The real reason that I really think they're not I'm going to make this comparison, and I'm going to be real careful here. It's kind of like that guy, I would say. It's kind of like that dude who was an ass in high school. He was a real ass in high school. He kind of peaked in high school. And he's around. No, hear me out. And because I want y'all to read between the lines of what I'm saying. Okay. I want y'all to read between the lines of what I'm saying. He was kind of an ass in high school. He kind of peaked in high school. Then, like 3 years out of high school, although he's graduated from college, he kind of looks like he took a step off the deep end. When he turns around 26, he loses all that weight again. He's back in tip-top shape. Now he could be the ass that he was in high school again. It kind of reminds you of that with the players of the W at a certain point. Or if you really want to I'll make this comparison. That's not really the right comparison. It's kind of like that guy who's been fat all his damn life, and all of a sudden he loses weight, gets a six-pack. Now he has all the money in the world. He's not used to that attention as of yet. He's not. So he doesn't. That's a
better comparison.
He really doesn't know how to handle it. He doesn't know how to walk into these rooms where you got Dominique Chins sitting around the damn fireplace all the time, smoking cigars, walking up to him, asking him what his name is. He's not used to that damn attention. He didn't get no hoes in high school. He didn't get none in college. Now he's just now losing weight and getting this money. Shout out to my man from the.
No, real quick though. I'm glad you brought that up. AEW reference. Shout out to Stokely Hathaway. If you know, you know.
That was the. But that's the thing.
That was one of the funniest promos I've seen all year. Shout out to Stokely Hathaway, bro.
I ball. I don't get any holes. I've been fighting all my life.
Fighting all my life.
But yeah, it's like he's not used to that attention. It's like I've been kind of big all my life. I finally got my facial treatment done. I'm getting facials now. I kind of got this persona. I have my aura finally, but I didn't go to therapy before everything happened, so I don't have the. I'm not so sure about how to handle this aura. So yeah, so it's kind of like that. So it's just like I'm not used to this big time attention right about now, and it's kind of I'm not so sure how to handle it at this point. Should I sign an autograph for everybody, or should I get pissed off and be the mean person that I already am? So
have you guys seen the movie Just Friends? It's a Ryan Reynolds movie.
Yes.
Yeah, he's all fat in high school, and then he tries to profess his love to his crush or best friend, and then he just gets. That's what the WNBA is. They're Ryan Reynolds and Just Friends, and it's just like, it just, I don't know. I want again. I I like the chippy play. I want chippy play. I like it. We've all been begging for 90s basketball to come back. Now we got it. It's just in the WNBA, not the NBA, which I'm fine with. I more have a problem with the stupid publicity stuff. Like, the random tripping and stuff like, that's Draymond Green stuff. And I can put up with that. But it's the lack of self-awareness when you're trying to build your own brand and the leagues. That's my problem.
Fair enough. That is very, very fair. Who won the trade deadline?
I'll let you. That's
Minnesota. Minnesota. They got Dejan Carey.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a normie when it comes to WNBA, is Minnesota going to run away with this?
Unless look, only thing I feel like is that it's going to be interesting when Stewie comes back. When Stewie comes back, that's going to be a whole nother ball game because New York needs Breanna Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
Because you thought it was bad when Jonquel Jones was not there. And when Stewie's not there, they let games get away very, very easily. Now, when Breanna Stewart comes back, it's kind of like, yeah. But I don't see anybody beating him in a 7-game series. I mean, I thought it was going to be Phoenix, but it's just like Phoenix has been on and off ever since. And I hate to say this, but ever since DeWanna Barner got there, Satu has not been the same. Satu Sabali, the unicorn, has not been the same. It's just like she'll be on one game, off the next game. On one game, off the next game. It's kind of weird when you think about it. But it seems like I agree that they won, but I really think a very, very close second has to be the Seattle Storm. I think Brittany Sykes, although they lost last night against the Sparks, she provided a spark for that team. So
like that. That's go ahead.
With Indiana being 6-4 in their last 10, and the majority of that without Caitlin Clark, how are we feeling about them right now?
That's in another segment, but let's just go ahead and let's get on into it. Because the thing is, guess who's leading the league in scoring right about now? Who has the most points to score? It's KELSEY Mitchell. She has 710 points in the league right about now. She's leading the league in scoring. And that's over Defeat Corey and everything. So with her leading the league in points right about now, is she the front runner for the MVP VRF?
Oh, no. No. You know who I think the MVP still is. Oh, no. MVP is still in the Defeat Corey's because you have to because of her performance and the Minnesota Lynx record. I'll say this, though. A'ja Wilson reminding people who she is.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
32 and 20.
First player in WNBA history with a 30-20 game. A'ja reminding people quick. Okay, Nafisa Collier has been the most consistent player this year, but I am still the best player in this league when everything clicking on all cylinders. So I think KELSEY Mitchell's she's starting to put herself in the conversation. And it's not just the scoring through play, but it's the Indiana Fever staying afloat without Caitlin Clark. Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest things why I think KELSEY Mitchell is starting to insert herself in the MVP conversation, because you're thinking with a player the caliber of Caitlin Clark, you lose her, you fall right into the toilet. KELSEY Mitchell's like, no, this is why they re-signed me. This is why they brought me back. I might not be a Caitlin Clark, but I promise you one thing, you get me on the court and you put the ball in my hands, I could put it up with the best of them. And she's shown that with her ability to shoot the three ball. She's one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. She, in my opinion, I think she's one of the best pure natural. She's just one of the best pure natural shooters in the league, period. So I think she has definitely inserted herself in the conversation. And now add to that, she's leading the league in total point score now? She's leading the league in total point score. So so she's leading the league in total point score now. So she absolutely has put her name in conversations as far as WNBA most valuable player is concerned, but it's still Nafisa Collier's to lose. I ain't changed my mind on that one at all. It's still hers to lose, but Kelsey Mitchell has definitely entered the conversation.
Flash.
I mean, I think the fact that they're still the 5th seed and they're basically 2 games out of the 2nd seed. That's all they're back. I mean, they're only 2 games back of New York. That's in the 2 seed, and New York in their last 10 is 5-5. I'm not sure of Caitlin's timetable on when she's supposed to return, but she's been out for a couple of weeks now, hasn't she?
Yeah, she had that growing injury.
Yeah. Since
you know what happened with Lisa Leslie when that happened? She was damn near out the entire season.
Yeah, groin and hamstring, dude, are just deadly injuries.
They are the worst.
So I don't know when she's supposed to come back. I can look it up real quick.
There's no timeline for her at this point, and neither. I mean, there's no timeline for her, and there's no timeline for Angels. So it's like, it's looking pretty bleak this season.
Yeah. Let's see, making progress in recovery from groin injury, but still not practicing. And that was 3 hours ago that was reported. It's sad that the league in general has been so, and that was the one thing that I heard a lot of people talk about Kelsey Plum's. I know I'm going back to her for a second. I don't want to stay on her too long. When she was trying to trick people, like, we have enough injuries in the league at this point. We're not like, let's not try to create more. And I think that was part of the problem with that. But I think Minnesota, again, coming as a normie, I think Minnesota right now with who they added, I don't see anybody beating them. Maybe if Indiana got hot, like with Caitlin Clark back, or if Asia Wilson just went
bananas.
Just went bananas, then maybe. But I don't like Indiana would have to get, again, Caitlin would have to be healthy and they would have to just be on fire.
I'm gonna say this real quick before we move on to the next statement as far as like WNBA and contenders. You know who my X factor is as a team going into the playoffs. You know who my X factor is. They're inside, they're out, they play inside, they play outside. Ryan Howard's coming back, Brittany Griner's coming back. They are still Atlanta's my X factor. Atlanta's my X factor because of Brianna Jones and Brittany Griner once you have them healthy. And then you get Ryan Howard healthy to go with Alicia Gray. And then with the depth that they have with Canada and Pow and I'm telling y'all, man. I'm saying, and not to mention Naz Hillman with Brianna Jones, with Brittany Griner bringing out, getting minutes and actually making a good contribution off the bench. I'm telling y'all, man. The Atlanta Dream, I'm telling you, they are, in my opinion, they are the biggest X factor going into the WNBA playoffs, because I think they're one of those teams that you're not going to pick against the big teams that could beat them in a series.
Yeah.
You told me about them when they first got her, you told me, it's like, hey, champ, look out for the Atlanta Dream. I'm like, barely made the playoffs last year. Like, no, watch them. They just got Brittany Griner, Brianna Jones. I didn't even know they got Brianna Jones. So, For me, it wasn't just the fact that they got Brittany Griner; it's the fact that they got Brianna Jones as well. That's what Brittany Griner herself wouldn't have made the big difference like that. Adding a Brianna Jones, who's a force on the inside, who can get you scoring on the inside. True scoring on the inside, I think was what really sweetened the pot for me, what made me look at Atlanta as a potential contender, because the inside game there and then the outside game with Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard, I feel like that's what wins in basketball anyway. Yeah. Especially when it comes to the WNBA, you can't be. I mean, and honestly, it's really like that with most sports. You can't be one-dimensional and expect to win. You just can't.
You have to be multidimensional. You have to be multifaceted. You have to be able to beat teams in different ways in order to contend. And Atlanta can run transition and beat you. Atlanta can slow it down and beat you. Just ask the Minnesota Lynx. They beat them on their home court. Atlanta can do it in a multitude of ways. That's why I feel like they're one of the biggest X factors going into the playoffs, because I think they can beat anybody in a series.
Man. Do you think they can push the Minnesota Lynx to the limit in a 7-game series, especially with Dejounte Carrington in the lineup as well?
I even with Dejounte Carrington, even though Dejounte Carrington brings them more scoring and brings them hella defense, I still think they can, because at the end of the day, I feel like in the WNBA, what can really turn the tide is really, 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 really good guard play. And there are a few backcourts better than Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray.
Yeah, very few. Very few. The only team that's the only duo that outscores them, that even comes close to outscoring them, is Kelsey Plum and Derek Handy. They're the only duo that outscores them in the season. Like I always keep saying, I say this on TikTok all this time, do not try to outscore the Los Angeles Sparks. You better try to slow them down, because they got way too many scores on that damn team. So, hey, look, I got to ask this question, man. Us being dudes, man. And so, who's the prettiest team in the W, man? Is it the Sparks, or is it the Phoenix Mercury, bro?
The prettiest team in the league is probably the Sparks.
It's probably the Sparks.
It's the Sparks, bro. You got Rickea Jaxson. You got Cameron Brink. You got what's the other girl?
Ray Burrell.
Ray Burrell. Yeah. And then you throw Kelsey Plum in on top of that, man. No, for me, it's the LA Sparks. The LA Sparks are the prettiest team in the WNBA.
You got Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall on Indiana.
I gave you 4-2. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I'm just a Sophie Cunningham guy, and she's like, she counts for 2.
That's fair.
Well, Ray Burrell, if you've seen Ray Burrell, she counts for about 3.
Hey, man, Rickea Jaxson, you can just stop me alone. But hey, man, let's not say
boy.
Sure.
I think it's just more attractive, the fact that like Sophie Cunningham can kick your skull in. Like, I don't know what it is about that, but it's just having a really good-looking girl that can kick your skull in. There's just something about that. I don't know what it is.
Okay. Never mind.
I'm not mad at it though. I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. I'm not mad at it though, because Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall. I mean, let's keep it a buck. I'm not mad at it at all when it comes to Indiana, but I mean, LA, like Rickea and Cameron and Kelsey and Ray. I mean, like, come on, bro.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm just gonna be real, man. Did you see Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall in the Cowboy?
The Cowboy thing, boy.
Okay, for the sake of my relationship, I'm going to say no. I did not see that.
Oh no, I'm not talking. I'm talking about the main man over there. So my main man. So that was epic. So
I was impressed. I was highly impressed. You two keep doing the Lord's work, okay? I was highly impressed.
With what? With my girlfriend?
No, boy, be quiet.
But
I'm impressed with myself with my girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm impressed with you. But I would say this, and it was a classy move too. Flash's point, something crazy happened today at an autograph signing. A fan had, her and JC Shelton be beefing. They was beefing at one point. So, as evidence, she damn near necktied her. And it was one of the cutest things happened. She slid a JC Shelton rookie card to Sophie Cunningham, and she actually laughed about it and signed the damn thing. That's the interaction with to Flash's point. That's the interaction that you want.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's the thing. That's the likability.
Yeah. So, I see where he comes from when he says that. You know what I'm saying? Because, anybody else, they just throw that shit off the deck. I'm not signing that shit. But, it's just like you laugh about it and you sign it off.
No, that's like, for instance, like, did you guys see that video? Tom Brady was doing autograph signing and somebody plopped down an Eli Manning jersey. And he made it.
No.
And he signed it anyways and made a joke about it. Like, sometimes you just you can't take yourself too seriously. Like, you have to be able to laugh at yourself. So,
yes, indeed. Hey, man, like, I'm just gonna be real, man. That's like man, you gotta love it when when you're able to laugh despite yourself. You don't want to be too serious. You don't want to be walking around here with a stick in your ass all the time, eating caviar, talking about I'm appalled. Shut the hell up. Go sit down. Go sit down. I gotta ask you this question as far as the Indiana Fever. If KELSEY Mitchell wins that MVP, is that going to change the narrative of his team?
What is the current narrative?
I mean, currently the narrative is this Caitlin Clark's team. They just waiting on her to come back. But
it's still Caitlin Clark's team, and they're waiting for her to come back.
It's like a KD Curry situation in Golden State right now. Like, no matter, KD could have won like 6 MVPs in a row, and it was still.
And it still would have been Steph Curry's team.
It still would have been, yeah. It still would have been Steph Curry's team. It just is.
Yeah, but you know how the streets are. I won't say how the streets of sports is. People are going to start saying, well, should they have done this in the first place instead of just, it's just, but you're going to start hearing chirps. Everybody likes to chirp.
Well, yeah.
But everybody's going to be saying, well, they should have just built around her in the first place rather than having her in purgatory for all of these years. Because, despite her scoring, they haven't been, able to break through as far as getting to the playoffs. She's a hell of a scorer, and she was a 3-time All-Star prior to this year. Now she's 4-time. But there's going to be some whispers like, well, they could have built around her in the first place. But, would you have been the box office that you are now? Probably not.
Well, and and here's the thing about Caitlin Clark. Again, I've said this. Everybody just pays attention to the 3-point shooting. What makes her special is her passing ability.
Yes.
So you can still make KELSEY Mitchell a total focal point of this offense when Caitlin comes back. Like, it doesn't hurt. Caitlin Clark doesn't have to be, the leading scorer and the lead, like, she doesn't have to be like it. She can essentially just be magic with a 3-point shot.
Yeah, sort of like, that's a good point, because remember, up until like, I think it was 1988, he was never the leading scorer. It was always Kareem.
Yeah.
That's how come he said, when Pat Riley said, I want you to be the leading scorer this year, first day, did you talk to Kareem about this person?
Yeah. Like, but that's the beauty about Caitlin Clark. I that's why I'm really curious with how well KELSEY Mitchell's playing. You add her back into the mix. It should, if they have a good enough coach, it should open things up even more in that offense. So let's see. I'm curious. I think the best thing for the WNBA right now is for Indiana. It may sound like I'm really pushing hard for Indiana, but I honestly, for the league's success right now, the best thing is for Indiana to go deep into the playoffs
and face the link.
Well, just exactly, yeah. Or I mean, it's not even the links, but if you can get in there against one of your top, if they go against Las Vegas and Asia Wilson,
that'll be good.
I just, they need a deep playoff run. So that's what'll be best for the league right now. And I've been saying it again. They need a basketball moment. They need a long, they need a long the WNBA needs a long, epic 7-game series to put a basketball moment and memory on this growth, and that's what I'm just hoping and wanting.
All right. We was talking about the Minnesota Lynx earlier, how they won the trade deadline and everything. But, as we also know as well, they own the Chicago Sky's first-round pick next year. They own the Chicago Sky's first-round pick next year because
who does?
The Minnesota Lynx.
Minnesota?
Yeah.
So isn't that isn't that girl from USC going to be coming out?
No, she's not. She's a junior this year.
Well, she can still come out, can't she?
I don't think so. I don't think they're able to come out until they're seniors. So, but it's going to be interesting if that happens, because can you imagine adding Juju Watkins to the Minnesota Lynx?
That's what I'm saying.
Can you imagine that?
That's illegal.
I mean, no, the thing is this. Can you imagine? Look, here's my top players coming out next year. You have Ossie Fudd, Flau'jae Johnson, and if she comes out, Juju Watkins. If one of those young women join the
Minnesota is either one of those,
it's over for the next 5 to 10 years. It's over.
Jesus.
Yeah, I wonder.
Minnesota gets either one of those. It's a wrap.
Because they own the Chicago Sky first round pick, and the Chicago Sky, the way they're going, they're headed straight to the lottery. That's a lottery pick. So yeah, it's
no, you're right. So the requirement of the WNBA, they have to be at least 22 years old during the year.
You have to be at least.
So basically, a senior in college.
Basically, you got to be a senior, yeah. But I mean, hell, I stay in college too. Hell, I'm a millionaire, and I'm in California too. Shit,
yeah, that's true.
All right, but I stay there, sit back and collect this check and enjoy some of this sunny weather. Go to arcades. I'm glad I did not have that money when I was in school, because I wouldn't have been. The thing is, I wouldn't have been doing the most. I would have been doing little kiddie shit. I'm not gonna lie. My thing was, when I was in the Army and I got that first paycheck, I used to go to fucking arcades all the time, and I used to go to barcades all the time and eat pizza.
Boy, if I had money like that, I'd buy an arcade. Okay.
And my thing was, I'm finna go play Mortal Kombat. That was the thing. I was 18 years old. I still love Mortal Kombat. So I'm like,
I'm about to say, Mortal Kombat will never leave my heart in terms of just pure fandom.
Yeah, I wish they'll give more credit to the other fight games like Killer Instinct 2 and Turtle Champions, but it's a story for another day.
Well, I mean, they about to shoot the Street. They about to shoot the Street Fighter live action. So I mean,
that's gonna be interesting. But I have to ask this question: is this the beginning of a dynasty with the Lynx? Because it seems like they just got richer when it came to Dejanay character. They already was the number one defense in the league. Then they added Dejanay character, in which her rebounding has went up significantly. She was only averaging in Dallas. She's averaging 6 in Minnesota. So you added her to one of the best backcourts in the league with Kayla McBride and Courtney Williams. And then you have her Teaspoon coming off the bench. So, and then if everything goes right, they have the first round pick. They have the number 1 overall pick next year. Is this the beginning of the best part?
They have to win the championship this year, though. I think they, for it to be really considered the beginning of the dynasty, they have to take it all the way this year. Like they have to solidify what they've done this regular season with a title. And I feel like it would be a better start. I think the potential is still there, even if they don't win a championship. But I just feel like there's more. I don't know. There's more as far as like they win the championship this year. It's not just, we could potentially have the number 1 overall pick fresh off of a championship. Then you're looking at possible free agents, maybe like, man, I like what they're doing in Minnesota. Let's go. So I feel like the championship can really just kind of bring it all in, and Minnesota could be like the hotspot of the WNBA for the next at least 5 years, because you have Nafisa Collier, you brought in Dejanay Carrington, Kayla McBride, Courtney Williams. I mean, you have it there. The core is practically there, and then you get the number 1 overall draft pick. I think with Minnesota, with the team that's constructed, I think even if they have the number 1 overall draft pick, I think they're going to draft based on who would fit their team more. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think Flau'jae Johnson fits that team more. Between Fudd and between Azzi Fudd, Juju Watkins, and Flau'jae Johnson, I think Flau'jae Johnson fits that team more as far as what they like to do, being someone who could come in, taller girl, can shoot the ball, can defend, can play make. Pretty much what the Minnesota Lynx are built on now. She would come in and Flau'jae Johnson would come in and would just fit like a glove. Because I feel like with Azzi Fudd, she's in that point guard mode. They don't need one. They don't need one right now. Yeah, they don't need one. They got Courtney Williams. They don't need one. And then basically Juju Watkins is basically in the same mold. They don't need another play. They don't need like another playmaking guard like that. With Flau'jae, she could come in, beat a 3, and then bam, you're set. You're set right there. So I think a championship would do a lot more for really just. I think a championship this year, I think could possibly just lock this league up for Minnesota for the next at least 3 to 5 years.
Would the new, what's up, Brandon? Would the new CBA, could part of that negotiation be allowing college players to leave early?
I hope so. I'm not gonna lie. I hope so. I hope so.
You know,
I kind of do.
I'm with Champ on
like
this.
not like the NBA though. Not like the NBA though. At least junior season. At least junior season.
I need you to stay all 4 years. Don't let that talent pool get diluted. Let that talent pool keep going like it is, because the more you start lowering that age limit, you see what's happening to the NBA, right? We don't have that legitimate star coming out. I mean, the thing is, we talk about this draft class, there's only about 3 or 4 guys coming in as far as, you know, in the NBA that we're saying he's going to be good, he's going to be good, he's going to be good. When you look at women's college sports, we're just naming the big names. When you look at this rookie class that just came in this year, Paige was just one of them. You had Georgia Amore, Kiki Ariafrin, Sonia Citron. Those 3 rookies are going to be the cornerstone for the Washington Mystics for years to come. You look at Paige, she's going to be the cornerstone. When you look at a lot of these players that are coming into the league, you know, they are fully developed already. It's just a matter of coaching them up to be what they can be. I don't want them coming out early. You already have NIL money. Stay there so you can develop and get good coaching. You're already bringing in too many damn teams, in my humble opinion. I love the W, but I think they're expanding too fast. You're already open up better roster spots first before you expand. But they're already expanding way too fast. And plus you're going to dilute the talent pool. No, don't do that, because it will be somebody's luck if they bring in. It's always that one junior. There was always that one junior that used to come into the NBA and we thought he was going to be good, but he came out early. He didn't stay and develop right, and he comes out and stinks to join up. And in fact, he was stinky as far as Adam Morrison was. So Yeah.
But yeah, and honestly, I didn't think he was going to be a good pro anyway. I'm not even going to lie. I didn't think he was going to be a good pro.
But yeah, I think they should leave them, let them stay, let them develop, and let them, all the one and done. The thing is, I don't think the main thing about that's killing the NBA right about now is one and done. Because I got to wait on you to develop. Whereas back when Isaiah and guys like that was in the league, you were already developing. You was ready to go and come in and make a difference. That's the biggest difference between now and back then. You got to wait on these guys to develop. You got to wait. You got to wait. You got to wait. And by the time you get through waiting, now you got to get her asses a max contract. Look what happened with Zion. So, yeah, I think that now in the case of Derrick Rose, he paid dividends immediately because he played under one of the great basketball minds in Kyler Perry. But how many guys that you know can come in and be that instant impact without being developed? So, no, keep it like it is. And there's nothing to get. And the reason why I'm saying that, people are going to get on to me for being the old man. And, well, the men can do it. I understand that. But look how diluted the talent in the NBA is versus how deep the talent is in the W.
I also, look, I'm just going to be blunt. I just want college basketball to be great again. That's part of my thing. I miss the days of when you went into the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight and you had Glenn Robinson at Purdue and Tim Duncan at Wake Forest. And, they've been there 3 years, and, I just, maybe it's just me being nostalgic and being an old head, but I just feel the college basketball game was better then.
Yeah. Plus you grew with your stars.
Yeah.
You heard about this McDonald's All-American when they came in, and they might get a few minutes coming into it. They might be coming off the bench their first year, then the second year, then finally in their their sophomore, junior, senior year, they explode. So by the time they get to the NBA, they're already a star. You don't have to build around them and put the league on notice about them. You don't really have to. That was the thing about basketball in the 90s, and in the early 2000s. You really didn't have to sit there, and you didn't have to grow with the star as they were coming in. You grew up with the star. It's just like when you think about Kobe, you grew up with him. When you think about guys who came out, who was in college, I would say, when you think about Patrick Ewing, you grew up with him. You watched. And the thing is, to Flash's point, I miss the days on a Tuesday when 1 versus 2 played and it was a regular season game and it was a big deal. College basketball back in the 90s when the Big East was running things, Hoya Paranoia, Jim Boeheim, all of those guys. I mean, John Thompson, the coaches were stars. The players were stars. It was a big, huge deal. So, yeah, I miss those days. It's like, yeah, keep it like it is. Don't dilute the talent just because, somebody wants to come out early. No, don't dilute the talent. You making that good old money, NIL money, go ahead and keep it the way it is. Don't dilute the talent. You already building up a good thing. We're able to grow with you. The thing is, the whole thing about Angel, and although it was a 2-year run, people started paying attention to the 2-year run versus the hardcore savants like me and you, BR. If we was paying attention long before that, the thing about that, we had a chance to see them another year. We got the chance to say, okay, you got them this year. All right, now get your ass out the car. This is the rematch. So, I'm just being real. I mean, when you think about UNLV versus Duke the very next year, which I still say was fixed, but we're not going to go there. But when you think about UNLV and how they just beat the hell out of Duke that first year, then the very next year, Grant Hill comes there. They have extra help. They beat one of the most dominant teams in NC2A history. That was the rematch. You got a chance to overcome the adversity. You had a chance to overcome one of the greatest teams in the world. So that's what I want to see continue to see in women's basketball because it's everything that we want in the men's side. The only difference is it's just lacking the promotion and the ratings. My humble opinion. Anything y'all wish to add to that?
Nah, I will definitely say you hit those points on the head.
All right. Well, I gotta ask y'all, my baseball guys, this. Gotta ask y'all. Who will win the hunt for Red October?
The more I watch the National League unfold, the more I'm becoming a believer of the Milwaukee Brewers, bro. I am becoming more and more a believer in the Milwaukee Brewers, bro. They are the best team in the NL by a full 5 games now. Like they have everything going right now. And the thing is like they don't even have like a true like dominant hitter. They just have a bunch of guys that can put the ball in play, and they have a pitching staff that can go out and get it done when they need to, and backed up with a solid bullpen. They just do everything good right now, and they're hot. They are hot, and this is the time where you want to get hot. And the Brewers are just like, bro, they are just letting people know, man. They coming for it. They letting people know.
Dude, the way that they're finishing games by like throwing people out at home plate and walk-off homers and like, look.
That pop when Isaac Collins threw that guy out to end the game was one of the loudest friggin' pops I have ever heard for anything.
And then he goes yard last night and after
hits a walk-off home run.
They were down 6-1 or whatever or something. Like
they were down, it's like they were down 6-1, came back and won 7-6.
Like I didn't have time this weekend and I wanted to make this video and I still may because they won again tonight. They beat Pittsburgh 7-1.
Damn.
It's Pittsburgh. It's Pittsburgh.
I know, but they've won 10 in a row now.
They're hot.
And it breaks my heart that Uke isn't alive to see this. But there is something legit magical about this team right now. You know, you can believe in, you know, I don't know if all any of our listeners or whatever watchers believe in God, but you know, but we've seen this before in sports that some kind of inspiration gets up that ass and it just manifests into something special. And we are seeing that right now. This is something special. I pray to God that this ends with a World Series. Because if they get this hot and then they in the playoffs like they have lately, I hope that's not the case. I hope that they run and finish this because what we're seeing is
teams.
What?
Plus, it's good for the small markets.
It is, and to see like what they're doing is historic. Like that's not like. There was a stat where in the last how many games are the only team to score 50 runs, commit no errors, and not lose a game in a span in like 20 games or something insane. Like they're the only team in history to ever do that.
Damn.
And like they are, dare I say, like playing on a biblical level. Like they got a whole Bible up their ass.
This reminds me. Champ, you're going to love me for saying this. This kind of reminds me of 2021 Atlanta a little bit. It kind of does. Because Bob Uecker passing away, and it kind of gave him that extra lift. Hank Aaron, 2021.
Yeah.
the Braves got hot, and then losing Hank on top of that kind of gave them that extra like oomph to go finish it.
And we didn't even have our star
And
player.
I think we're really seeing that with the Brewers, and it's crazy because they let Devin Williams walk. They let him. They got rid of him, and they're still just clicking on all cylinders. I will say this though, and I don't want to rain down on the Milwaukee parade. I will say this. I think they have to get the number 1 seed. I think they have to get the number 1 seed. The reason why I say this, and this goes to any National League team. I don't think none of you. There are 2 places in the National League you do not want to have to go October. That's Dodger Stadium and Citizens Bank Park. You don't want to go to either. You don't want to go to, huh?
Who the fuck plays in Citizens Bank Park?
The Philadelphia Phillies.
Oh, I was about to say New York.
Heck, we don't give a damn about the Mets here.
I'm talking about the Yankees.
No. I'm talking about. I said National League.
Okay. Oh, I
said National League. Yeah, I said National League. They're in the American League. National League. I don't think you don't want to go to Dodger Stadium. You do not want to go to Citizens Bank. You don't want to go to. You don't want either one of them teams in any situation where they have home field advantage. You want home field advantage against the LA Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies because those teams have. The Phillies more, but the Dodgers finally showed it last year. They will out-hit you in the playoffs. They will out-hit you in the playoffs, especially if they have home field. I think Milwaukee needs to get that number 1 seed and needs to get that home field advantage throughout the National League playoffs. I think
I just realized
if those teams have to come to Milwaukee, I think it's a whole different ball game.
With the way that crowd is right now. I also want to point out I didn't even notice that Milwaukee's the only team with 70 wins.
You said what now?
They're the only team with 70 wins right now.
Damn.
Yeah, Milwaukee. Yeah, they're the only team with 70 wins.
Yeah, the only other team. I mean, you got Philly at 69 and Toronto at 69, but I mean, Milwaukee's at 74 already. So now we're at 118 games, so we got 40-ish left.
That's 44. That's 44 left.
Yeah. So we got a ways to go still. It's only early August. So I'm
exactly.
I am loving this.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to turn on a Brewer game because I don't want to jinx it. I just want this to keep being magical. And again, the do it for Uke is starting to be a thing, and let's finish this, please, dear Lord. Let's finish this. A World Series in town, dude. I can't. If you thought the Bucks winning a title was something epic in Milwaukee, watch the Brewers. It will put the Bucks title to shame if the Brewers win a World Series. I'm not joking.
Especially if you beat the Dodgers on the way and then you beat the Yankees. And if y'all just beat the Yankees in the series, that would be – I don't want you to beat them in the playoffs. I want you to beat them in the series. That would just sweep the deal. There's nothing I love more than seeing the Yankees lose on the biggest stage. There's nothing I love more. But I look, as much as we love giving the big market their credit, when small market teams win, it has more validity to it, in my humble opinion. Because the thing is, they just couldn't spin in order to get everybody there.
It brings a level of parity to the game that it needs. It brings a level of parity that baseball still needs. It brings parity.
Yeah. And That's what I just believe. But I do have to ask y'all this question, man. This is like a little pipe bomb question. What do y'all think about the salary cap potential that the MLB is having at this point? Do y'all think they should have a salary cap, or should they have a salary floor?
I think they should. I think baseball should have a cap. I think they should have a cap. I think they should have a cap. I think it's about time that that we're not hearing. I think it's about time we stop hearing about the same teams, the same markets year in and year out. I think it's about time that some of these other franchises, some of these other organizations get a little piece of this and throw their name in the hat and get a shot at and get like a legit shot at this to be able to acquire some real talent as opposed to just having the scraps when like the Dodgers are signing everybody known to man and signing them like Shohei Ohtani signing them to like a 10-year $700 million deal, but not paying the bulk of the contract until after he retires. Like it's about time that these other smaller, that some of these other teams kind of get a shot at this. So yeah, I'm at this point I'm for baseball having a salary cap.
Yeah, I said this last year that I think there should be a salary cap. I think the Dodgers are making a mockery of it to a certain extent. To have a small market team, the only way a Brewers or a Twins or something like that wins, is they have to have a Bible shoved up their ass, basically. It just is what it is. It just is. It's true. I just like everybody knew when Ohtani was going to leave the Angels, we all knew where he was going to go.
Either there or the Yankees.
What?
Either there or the Yankees.
Either there or the Yankees. And we all knew it. And it's just like it's not even so much that that the Angels couldn't build around him and Trout and win anything. It's more so like you need to give the small market teams a chance to keep these guys. Like you just do. But I also think there needs to be a cap and a floor.
Yeah.
You need to have both. You can't have one or the other. You can't have
I think the Anthony Rendon contract hurt the Angels too, because you want to talk about one of the worst contracts in the history of the sport. Anthony Rendon was an MVP candidate with the Washington Nationals. He goes to LA and just like dude couldn't stay healthy, and then when he was healthy, he forgot how to play baseball. This dude was one of the premier third basemen in the league with the Nationals. He goes to the Angels and just like craps everything imaginable.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I think they should have a salary cap and a floor as well, because it has to be a point where you remember how I hate to bring this up. Do y'all remember how terrible David Glass was as a baseball owner?
I'm trying to remember which team was David. Yeah, I'm trying to remember which team David Glass was.
The Kansas City Royals. Remember, he was one of the Royals at a certain point. You know how terrible David Glass was terrible as an owner, and he was a CEO at Walmart. I know you got some damn money. So yeah, I think there should be a minimum. Either you're going to spend in order to win, or I mean, hey, I think there should be a cap floor. Hey, you got to spend this much to prove you want to win, because y'all already get a subsidy. The small market teams get a subsidy. Do they still get the subsidy every year in order to make the team competitive, like a $50 million like subsidy?
I think so.
Yeah,
I believe so.
So, yeah, you get the subsidy already in order to make the small market teams big, because you can't compete with the larger market as far as money is concerned. And for baseball, that's still the case. But yeah, when David Glass was the owner, they used to talk about him like he had a tail. So that's how bad they used to talk about David Flash as owner.
Yeah.
So
I'll say this one. I'll say this too, though. As far as like the postseason coming up and all that other stuff. I mean, I know we love like the Brewers and them being the number 1 seed in the NL and all this other stuff. We haven't had that wild card team get hot yet. This is always that part of the year where one of the wild card teams that are, one of those teams competing for the wild card spot, just somebody's about to blow up at some point. Somebody's about to shoot off at some point. I'm waiting on that. I'm waiting on one of those wild card teams to like really kind of get hot, because lately it always seems to be a team that doesn't win either of the division that picks the right time to start smoking, and they just run through and beat everybody. So we ain't had that just yet. So I'm kind of interested to see which wild card team, whether it's NL or AL, really start to pop off and really do something towards making the playoffs. Because usually that team gets hot, make the playoff, and then they just forget everything, and then they just run through and beat everybody.
Yeah.
On that note, man, hey, love doing the show every week with you, brilliant two men, man. Hell of a man, brilliant man, hell of a fathers. I'm proud of both of you, man. I couldn't be more honored to run this show with both of you, and it's always a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor every single Monday night to be over here with you guys. So that is from me to you, man. So, man, go check them out on TikTok. Check out Flash, Dadbot the Radbot, and check out his main page. Check out BRF. As the season goes on, I guarantee you're going to see a hell of a lot more of us on every single platform, because now, especially now, after next week, we're going to be broadcasting our lives on TikTok as well, where it all started. So we're going to be broadcasting on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. So look out for that. And that will definitely add to the platform as we speak. So be ready for it. Be ready for it, man. And I'm proud of every last one of you guys. Again, prayers up, not just for the world, but for Milwaukee. Prayers up for Milwaukee, man, the flooding. And I'm going to tell you, like my mom used to tell me, don't act oblivious, don't act stupid. Send your prayers up. If you can send supplies, if you can do something about it. Don't be one of these people, well, it doesn't concern me, because it could be you in a second. Everything can change like that, man. So, if you don't be humble, God will humble your ass. So don't be one of those cats who throwing shade. Shout out to Milwaukee. We love you guys. Hey, hugs, thoughts, and prayers. We send our love out to you. And let's hope that y'all can finish out this travesty from losing Bob Uecker and, this flood. Let's hope that y'all can bring a championship to that city that can galvanize them once again. And shout out to the people in Washington, D.C. as well. But on that note, man, we salute y'all. We love y'all. And we're going to holler at y'all. We will see you next Monday. Holla.